Here with my regular co-host, Mr. Robert Kenny. Robert and I have both grown a year older this week, and you don't look any worse for the wear, my friend.
You don't either, sir. Now, there was a time in March where clearly you gained that year, but in the last week, you have not aged one bit.
Well, there you go. And we have with us our intern, Mr. ATI, Adam the intern. How are you,
Front of the
Adam?
head.
I'm good.
Also known as Emerson Fitherfatty and Harry Backyhead. So,
Now he's front of the head.
oh, he's front
Yes,
of the
I
head. There
am
you
front
go.
of the head.
So we always start off the show. We're all about the Owl Show, so if you're an Owls fan out there, we'd love to hear a big hooty hoot. Hooty hoo!
Hooty hoo.
There you go. I got a couple out there. All right, so that's good. KSU Sports is what the show is all about. So some good things happening in KSU this week, and I guess Adam the intern is going to tell us about it, and Robert has some input as well.
We have 4 athletes that qualified for the U.S. Track and Field Championships. We have Isaiah Rogers.
For the hammer throw.
He qualified for the hammer throw. Daniel Haw also qualified
For the hammer.
for the hammer throw as well. So we got 2 hammer throw athletes. So obviously we have a pretty
Hammer
good
time in
chance.
Kennesaw.
Absolutely.
MC Hammer Time.
Kelvin Campbell.
Kelvin Campbell qualified for the triple jump.
Absolutely.
And Simon Saeed qualified for the pole vault. I didn't even know we had a pole vault, but that's good to know. He also is on the U20 outdoor team.
That's correct. The national team.
Yes.
That's really cool.
So we had Callie a couple years ago. We had Callie last year, so now we have another owl on the national team.
That's really cool. Speaking of Callie, when we asked her who her favorite person was in her cell phone, you remember who she said?
She said me, I thought.
She said Daniel Hall. That's what she said. It was her, because he had done so much for KSU. That was her favorite one. So
What a great trip. I mean, you know, it's kind of like I remember Wisconsin couldn't go to a bowl game, so they scheduled Hawaii so they could go to Hawaii.
Oh,
but, you know,
Lord.
this is a trip. You've got to dominate your sport to show up, and now you get a trip to Eugene, Oregon.
it can't stink.
It can't
Everybody loves Eugene, Oregon.
It's where they filmed Animal House.
Animal House. Originally supposed to be the dogs.
It's where Marcus Mariota went to school.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah. We didn't talk
land-
about Marcus Hardy, but he's probably on the way out.
The land of 1,000 jerseys in Eugene, Oregon.
Yes,
Yeah.
and helmets.
And helmets.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. That's probably the Autzen Stadium, I think is the name of the stadium, where we would like to go.
Absolutely.
In the Big 12.
The Ducks. The Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Oh, yeah, thank you. They quacked me up, those Ducks.
Knew it was coming. Didn't know
Okay.
what it was, but knew it was coming.
I think my time on this show has ended.
That's your time.
So,
That's your cue. So,
yeah.
we, Robert and I have been doing this show now 10 and a half months. That's hard to believe, isn't it, Larry, that we've been here that long? Larry, the intern, has been with us about that long, and ATI got there shortly thereafter. Robert, tell us how this all started.
You know, it all started with Carrick Martin.
And where were we when that started?
We were at Red Hair Brewery, and you told me all about this guy that we're going to have on the show. And so I think it was the first time I ever started doing homework for our regular 5 o'clock show. And it's like, Carrick Martin, who's this guy? Oh, okay. And when we were talking, it was also the first time that I noticed anybody who was sitting with us doing this. And he was taking a picture of himself and us in the background. And by the end of the show, he said, "You need to start doing this for my school."
No, that was not the first thing he told us. First thing he asked us was, can you come out to Dogwood next week and broadcast from there? And we thought, hey, let's take it on the road. That would be kind of cool.
And we did that.
And we had to tell the people at Red Horse, hey, we're not going to be here next week. We're going to try it on location at Dogwood Golf Club.
We know that we're dating you and it's kind of an exclusive thing, but we're just letting you know next week we're calling time out and we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, dating you. That reminds me of one of my favorite lines ever on a television show.
We've been on an awful long vacation then.
What?
From Red Hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we tell them that we're not coming back?
We went back
Yeah, we did.
the following
Oh,
week.
okay.
Yeah. So, you ever watch the show The Nanny?
Oh, yeah.
So Niles, you know how he always gave CeCe a hard time?
Right.
I'll never forget. She said they were on the show one time. She said, "Oh, look, Maxwell, they're making a play out of Lost in Space. I used to love that as a little girl." And she goes, "Oop, I'm dating myself. And Niles goes, dating yourself? How pathetic. Even you can do better than you. One of my favorite lines ever on TV.
Yeah.
So we went out to Dogwood and we did the show, and Carrick pulls us off to the side and said, would you guys be interested in doing a show about Kennesaw State sports? And Robert and I looked at each other and said, well, we don't know anything about it, but give us the end of the year and we will.
And, I can remember honestly looking at him and telling him that we don't know anything, but give us by January 2023. I said, I'll know more than every person you've ever met combined. Little did I know of all the Will Renfros and Garrett Brackett's and Maynard G. Krebs himself. It was like, no, this is something that's going to take a long time before you're smarter than the rest of the world, because we've been going to these games.
Yeah, we have been. And, it was funny. We didn't have a place to have the show because we didn't want to do it at Red Hair because it was too far away.
Red Hair was too far away, and the golf course was too far away. And it was the day that I realized you got to be careful what you say around Chuck. And I looked at Chuck and I said, well, if we're going to do a KSU show, it's going to have to be somewhere close to the campus, like that Miller's Ale House, where it's kind of close, like whatever. And it was just a passing statement. I really didn't put any stock in it. And then the next day he called me and he goes, so we're good at Miller's. I said, what do you mean we're good at Miller's? Oh, I've already talked to the manager. We're going to be doing all the shows from Miller's. We're getting free food. I'm like, sweet. I should have told him, we need to do this from wherever.
Yeah. So,
Although I'm glad we're here.
I walked in and just talked to Bill Cuthbert, who was just standing up here with us. Bill's a general manager. And I said, hey, Bill, you got things you could host us doing a couple of shows a week? He said, yeah, it sounds great. And so I don't know how many we've done here, but we started on August the 17th. And now here it is, July the 5th. So very close to a year.
Only one show off. That was for Thanksgiving.
The day before Thanksgiving.
We had no Thanksgiving show, but outside that, so that's basically 48 shows or something.
That's a lot of shows.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. We met some great people here, like my buddy Sean at the bar, and we got Bailey and Bill. Like I said, Bill and Dana and Mark, the general manager, and Greg's in here, the regional manager sometime.
Adam Freeze likes to help us out.
Adam Freeze?
Adam Freeze, he's my buddy's son
Adam Freeze. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. That's cool. So we've made a lot of good friends while we were here at Miller's Ale House, and none of them better than our next guest, but we're going to go ahead and get a commercial out of the way before he bring him in. So let's do our Bearcat Express commercial.
Do you need a delivery right now? As in go now, please? Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Atlanta to Athens, Dothan to Augusta, Memphis to Charlotte, or any point in between, we've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on your dresser, your 5-wood isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express with their live tracking capabilities is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast, so check us out at BearcatExpress.com.
And Bearcat has been a sponsor ever since we've been here at Miller's, and we're very happy to have them on board.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Bill, we were just talking about you on the air, and you weren't even here. Do you remember the day that I came in? Come get on the mic for a minute. Do you remember the day I came in and asked you if we could do this show?
Yeah, didn't I say yes?
You said, come on
did.
in. Yeah, you must have because
you're the
we're still
reason
here.
why we're still here, because you said yes.
So we were
There's a
just
lot of reasons behind me, but
Yeah,
half
well,
of them lined me up in prison.
yeah. So we were just talking about you and wanted to let you know that how much we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you guys coming in.
All right, cool.
1 year anniversary coming up next month.
Has it been that long?
It has.
17th of August will be a year.
This is about our 48th KSU show, and we never did a KSU show until we got here. So
Yeah, you did the half and half. Wow.
Yeah.
crazy.
So, Larry, give him a round of applause for that. Look at that. There you go. Thank you, Bill. So, speaking of a round of applause, we're going to bring in probably Maynard G. Krebs. Carrick Martin was probably our first guest. But I would have to say our first fan
He was our first fan.
would be this dude.
It was our first fan, and he's also been our first assistant to the assistant. He took your seat once.
He took your seat once.
No, Garrett took my seat, but that's a different story.
No, Will took it one night. Didn't you co-host
No,
with me
he
one
did.
night?
He did. He's
That's
taken
when
all.
I took all of your seats.
He took. He's.
I don't even want to go there.
He sat in all of our chairs and sat in them well. He was responsible for, outside of the ATI squatting, I would say the greatest moment of the show's history.
Well, let's bring him on here
Bring
before
him
we talk
on.
about it. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Will Renfro. Big hooty hoo for Will. How my buddy?
Oh, how we doing?
If I was any better, I'd be Will Renfro.
Awesome.
Awesome.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Can you believe we've been doing this almost 11 months?
This is exciting.
Yeah. Having you on is exciting.
Meaning we're getting close to a year means we're getting close to football season.
That is correct.
Absolutely.
That is very true.
I know what you miss more than anything.
What's that?
Chuck's Chumps. I know.
Chuck's Chumps.
Nobody misses Chuck's
Nobody,
Chumps.
not even Will. Will's a really nice guy, and he's smiling at him, but he's not really missing this.
Oh, yes, he is. My friend Will. And it'll be really weird this year because we play 9 teams that nobody else
We
knows.
play a lot of chumps this year.
we play a lot of chumps this year. That's right. So, geez, let's kind of do this chronologically of what's happened since we've been on the show. I think the first big news that we got when we were on the show was that KSU had agreed to join Conference USA. And you know what? This is the first show that we were within a year of becoming Conference USA because it begins July 1st, 2024.
Right.
Isn't that right? So we're barreling down the road towards Conference USA, and everything's going to look a lot different in a year. I'm sure we'll still be doing the show here, God willing, and the creeks
Absolutely.
don't rise. So I think that's the first and probably biggest news of the year
That was
on an overall KSU perspective.
Yeah, that was big news. I mean, it affects every program. It's not just football going to FBS. It affects every program. We're changing our normal schedules, who our normal enemies are.
Yeah.
Okay, although we're bringing a couple with us, so
Liberty.
we get to keep Jack State as an enemy.
And Liberty.
And there was
And Liberty.
I went to fireworks last night in Ackworth, and there's this woman sitting at the table behind me with this Liberty hat, and I looked at her 6 times. I was like, okay, I gotta go say something.
So what did you say to her?
I walked over and I said, there's a lot of stores that sell really cool yellow and black memorabilia around here, and she's like, oh, all my kids went there. I was like, well, it's okay. We like having you close by so we can beat on you
Again. Yeah. That was great.
again.
That was great. So, like Will said, it's going to be a very, very uplifting thing for KSU in terms of notoriety. They're already getting some great press from the things that we've done this year. And we'll talk about some as we go through the show. Because, this is really a show. It's a little bit different than what we've done before. We're going to look back over the year because that's kind of what you do on the 4th of July, right? You reflect what this country has meant to us and what we have done over the last 47 years or something
Hugh
like that.
Greenwood in the background. 'Cause I'm proud to be
Or
an
Lee
American.
Greenwood.
I just said Greenwood.
Oh, I thought you said Hugh.
No, but
Okay, who is that,
talk
Lee's
about
brother?
You talk about his joining Conference USA, and there's the map of the new.
Oh, we're all over the place.
Hold it up to the camera
and,
there.
and when you look at that, the women's lacrosse team is going to New Mexico. We're going across the country. When you think about where KSU sports were 10 years ago, you weren't going more than a 2.5-hour bus ride somewhere.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, from New Mexico to Virginia,
Who's in Virginia?
Liberty.
The William Byron car. I
But,
can't pull for him anymore.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Lots of fun travel, and regardless of what sport you hold near and dear, Owls will be on the road, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and don't forget the last time we played Liberty in football, we beat them.
Did we?
Yes, and that was the day that they announced that they had sponsored William Byron in the Grand National Division. I don't remember what that's called, the Bush
The
Race.
Xfinity Series.
Xfinity
now.
Series.
But when they announced that he was going up and that they were going to continue their sponsorship, and they rolled out a race car onto the midfield during halftime.
Oh, wow. That was at Liberty?
That was at Liberty when
Oh,
we
wow.
played them.
That's pretty crazy. That's crazy. Some great teams. And, most of the programs are already playing out of Conference USA. I mean, out of ASUN. We know that the basketball team plays Indiana. and they're playing them again this year. Hopefully, we're going to have the new coach on, Antoine Petway, within the next couple of weeks to talk about the 2023 schedule for basketball. Last time I talked to him was at the alumni thing a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
where you and I were, and he said that the conference schedule is set, but not the non-conference games. So we'll find out a lot about what's going on non-conference with KSU here in the next couple of weeks in terms of basketball.
The women's just announced the.
Women's
I didn't know
just
if we were going to get
announced.
to that. They just announced the conference schedule.
Oh, let's hear that, Robert. Are you pulling it up?
I can.
Yeah, let's talk about the women. I got on the Octavia blue out shirt
Yes, you
today.
do. Yes,
yeah.
you do. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to memorize it yet.
Yeah.
It just came out
All
today.
right, thanks, Will.
So,
So that's good news. Who do we open with, Robert?
Queens
Oh,
here at the
Queens.
Convocation Center.
Yeah.
So we got Queens, North Florida, JU. That's the one from Florida, not the other Jack State. Jack State, Jacksonville U. Stetson, FGCU, North Alabama, Central Arkansas, Austin.
P.
Thank you. Lipscomb, Bellarmine, Eastern Kentucky, FGCU, Stetson. So yeah, standard.
So we're still playing a ASUN conference.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're still playing an ASUN conference in basketball this year.
Yes.
And the same will be true of the men. We just don't know what. And I didn't see any.
Interestingly enough, Jack State's not on there. So although Jack State is in our conference and leaving to go to the same conference as we are, somehow.
I think they proclaimed a year earlier that they were leaving.
They
though,
went a
didn't
year
they?
earlier.
Okay, so that's
So
why they're
out.
no longer
That's
part
why
of it.
they're out. Yeah, but we'll catch back up with them in 24.
Oh, we're gonna get you. Technically, we'll never be behind them, but we will meet back up with them.
Meet back up with them.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So that's pretty cool. So if the girls' schedule's out, I'm sure the guys is not too far behind.
Absolutely.
So we get caught up with that. Like I said, it's a lot of fun looking back. Will, I remember the first time I met you guys. It was here, right?
Yes.
You guys came to. I guess Carrick invited you guys
Carrick
to the
invited
show.
us, yes.
Yeah, and Will has been pretty much been a staple ever since. He and his wife, Other Chuck, and Garrett Brackett, and Jan and Alyssa used to come. Alyssa and I share the same birthday. I didn't know that.
I didn't either
until I found
this
out the
year.
other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Alyssa, we got the same birthday. That's
Saw
pretty cool.
Jan now. I've seen Jan twice in the last month. Gonna keep talking about you until you come back and come and sit with us.
You better come back, Jan. I've seen Jan a couple of times.
She's gallivanting around the world and doesn't have time.
Well, she
right
retired. That's one thing that happened this year is she retired.
now. Correct.
Yeah, that's not on my top 10, but thank you for bringing that up.
It's
That probably
just
should have
outside
been.
of the top 10.
Just outside the top 10.
It was
Jan.
in my top 10.
Oh, there you go.
If you talk
What
to
a
Jan, she'll remind
butt
you of
kiss.
that daily.
So I guess that was the last time I saw Jan was when we were up at the thing, and we all went for blizzards afterwards, and you bolted on us.
Well, the
I saw-
place was closed.
I saw Jan on
We went
Friday
to the
night while I was
drive-thru.
hanging out with you.
At the concert, yeah,
Yep,
I heard
she was
had a
on the
place.
Square Marriott.
She actually sent Kevin DeLong over. Kevin came over and said hey to us.
Correct.
On Chuck's Corner.
Okay.
But didn't see her, but I knew she was there. And I think they all gathered at Stan Kirk's for what is it, 4th of July? So that was kind of fun. So Larry, what are you doing over there? You got issues? Larry's falling over there. Larry the engineer is one too
Larry's
many
falling
Miller's
and
Ale
he
House
can't get up.
beers. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, like I said, the number one story is probably the move up to Conference USA. Robert, let me see if anybody in our audience, like in our production group here, knows this. Who was our first guest on the KSU show other than Carrick?
I know who it was scheduled to be, and then I know why it wasn't.
Okay, give me that.
It's like the soccer coach or the
Close.
No, it was the golf coach.
golf coach.
Good try.
Maybe the lacrosse coach.
The lacrosse
It was the
coach.
lacrosse coach. Yes.
He's
it
asking
certainly
me
was.
like I'm one of you guys. I was here. I remember.
Well, I said the whole production crew. You're part of that.
The golf coach wasn't far behind though.
Erin Fromm. Yeah, she was not far behind. She was on there. Who was our first athlete that was a guest?
Probably Tori.
That's exactly right. Tori Owens from the golf team. She was our first athlete guest, I think.
No, she was our first active athlete.
Yeah, but I assumed we were
We
talking
were
about active athletes and not.
Well, that's fine. We interviewed quite a few
We started with
football players.
You had Bart,
Retired
The
athlete.
the one who
Retired.
the one
Well, how old is he? If
What-
he's retired?
the one who brings his wife and kid up
finished
here.
with KSU.
Cole Loden.
Cole Loden.
No, Cole
Loden.
wasn't the first.
Cole Loden.
He
But
was
he's
not
one
the
of the
first.
top four.
Yeah,
he was
he-
before.
Yeah, but top four
Desmond-
doesn't matter. Close only counts in
was it-
horseshoes and hand
was it
grenades.
But you
Desmond-
guys just agreed it was a female golfer
was
who wasn't on
several-
until the
it was
second
Yeah,
several-
but
month.
I
she
thought
was,
it was.
Not
she was
correct.
she was the first active athlete.
Active.
Active athlete. It was Tori. But is it Desmond or Damon? Something like that. That was a. It was a Holland. Something Holland.
Darnell Holland.
Darnell
Darnell
Holland.
Holland.
He was probably our first.
Actually, I
Athlete.
have all these notes.
He was the one-
Let me go back.
We'll see, Robert
he was
Woods.
the one that didn't remember being at the wedding that I was at
Yeah.
until I pulled up the picture and he's standing right next to me.
Oh,
and
really?
he's telling me, "Oh, I remember your wife being there."
Yeah.
because she was the wedding director
Yeah, Charlie was.
for
Yeah.
Snowden, for Nick Snowden, who was a defensive back,
Yeah.
who's now a coach at North Cobb, by the way,
Yeah.
locally here.
Yeah. So Robert's looking back. He's serious into
Holland.
this now. Was it Holland?
Yep.
I thought so. Yeah.
And you had Barkley. I don't remember when Barkley Miller was. in on
Barkley
that.
Miller was on. I can tell you when it was. It was towards the middle of August. Oh no, Barkley might have been before that because he was
He
the.
was one of our first ones.
Yeah, because he came the commissioner of our fantasy
Right,
football league,
exactly.
and the draft had to be that last
Shortly
week in August or
thereafter.
something. Yeah, so
Yes.
Barkley Miller was up there. And I think Barkley's going to be on next week with Francis Bussey and Carrick. They're going to talk about the
Hey, and
Owl
just for the
Collective
record,
next
you know,
week.
when I
Okay.
first started doing this, I used to thank Ryan Seacrest for friending us on all these things, and I stopped doing that. But you know, the guy's the head of Wheel of Fortune now. We
He's
really
taking
we
over
really
from Pat
need
Sajak.
we really
Yeah.
need your help here, Ryan. So you know, if you can follow ATI on his TikToks, it would help us a lot.
Has that already happened?
The three guys who love sports TikTok.
That is correct.
Has
Brandon
Seacrest already?
Sutton would be our second guest ever.
Brandon Sutton. I remember
Oh,
that.
there you go. That's the other one.
Has Sajak? Is he retired now? Has Seacrest already taken over?
I don't believe he's taken over yet.
Okay.
No, Pat Sajak is going out the whole year.
Oh, the end of the year, calendar year
Yeah, the next year.
of season, the next
yeah, the
season.
next season. And
All
then
right.
he's retired.
I thought Sean would make a good replacement for Howie Mandel. He could do deal or no deal.
Well,
I
you
can
know
see
that-
Sean doing that.
Yeah, his wife said he's not allowed to go with that many hot women holding briefcases, though. So.
Wayne Brady is the host of Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it
is
was
now.
Howie Mandel
It
first.
used to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, but now it's Wayne Brady. It
Yeah.
was Monty Hall.
No, he made Let's Make a Deal. That wasn't
Oh.
that wasn't Deal or No Deal. That was Let's Make a Deal.
Then Wayne Brady's the host of Let's Make,
Make a Deal. He's not Deal or No Deal.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
all the same.
Yep. Yep.
William Nana Fabu.
William Nuff Fabu.
We've had some fun ones.
Yeah. What, from a name perspective, is that what you're talking
No,
about?
just looking back at the order we did them in. Alana Bly, she was a goalkeeper for the soccer team. She came.
We
on.
had her on.
Absolutely.
I don't remember a goalkeeper for the thing. That's how old I'm
That's
getting.
how
We
many
don't
we've
remember
had.
that. Yeah.
And it's not because she wasn't epic and we don't remember, but after what we're guessing is our 48th episode, we've had a lot of people on the show.
Fans, coaches, players, ex-players, and we're not going to stop. We got a lot of good things going on.
Absolutely. We're going to have a former athletic director on very soon.
Who is that?
It is my wife. It's Meemaw's cousin's husband.
Oh yeah, him. Before Vaughn Williams.
That is correct.
Wow, that would be pretty cool. So,
Talk about what it was like when you were scheduling in 1982.
well, we had like Jake Lassiter from the football team. We had Austin. What is Austin's last name? He was coach on the baseball team.
Austin. Yeah.
He does like the stats and stuff. He's in the super stats or whatever it is.
Aaron Harris, another
Aaron Harris.
soccer player.
I remember Aaron. Yep.
It's crazy. Lots of people.
Yeah, it is. That's fun. I'll have to pull that up and look at that
We
sometime.
also
That's
had a
really cool.
mascot, as I recall.
The bananas?
Adesola
The bananas, but we also, I
Ababawe.
thought we had another
Abasola Abasoye.
Abasoye.
That's the one. I sat next to him at the spring football game. And he said, yeah, I was on your show. I
and
said,
don't
oh,
forget,
yeah.
we had an NFL player on here.
Travis Bell.
Travis Bell.
He's probably the most recognized name that we've had on. Travis was here.
He's
He was
going to
actually,
be.
He was actually on here on a Wednesday. He told us that he was going to visit the Bears on a Monday, and then he was
And a week
drafted
and a half
that
later, he was
Saturday.
drafted.
It was within
Yeah.
2 weeks that he was drafted.
Yeah, it was in 2 weeks of him being drafted that he was on the show. So we've had an NFL player.
And if you're, it's one thing if your player goes to, and sorry for throwing some city under the bus, Green Bay. You only got like 20,000 people in your city. This guy is in the third biggest city in America.
Yeah.
When he starts making big plays, people are going to know where did that guy come from? Oh, he's Ohio State. No, he wasn't.
And
It's KSU.
what's really cool is they also the Bears also hired a coach away from here.
They did. Well, he got a fellowship, and I'm not sure if that's kind of like an intern in the professional world. I don't know details of how that program works. There's like 6 coaches that got this fellowship with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And Coach Safford was our defensive back coach.
Yeah,
Was one of them.
It's got,
Austin Upshaw was what
Upshaw was a baseball player. Yeah. So I'm going to write Travis this week. We talk once in a blue moon on just texting. See how he's doing. I mean, I hope he's going to make the 53-man squad. That would be huge for the Owls. And with that coach up there, it can't hurt, right?
No, I don't. That can't hurt. But Travis Bell's just one of those guys. He's a hardworking guy. If he's not going to go there and blow his chance. He's going to give it everything he has.
Yeah.
He's going to be humble. He's going to bring his lunchbox. And even if for some unforeseen reason the Bears decide not to keep him, somebody's gonna jump at him when he becomes available, and he will be playing on Sundays this
Well,
year.
the Bears can keep him on the practice squad, right?
They can.
Yeah. And that's not
because they-
cheap. That's
because
not
they
cheap
drafted
money.
him.
No, but like Azoya Alufaha, who was the one that made the team that the Texans,
Correct.
but was not drafted. He was given 3 or 4 chances on different teams. He bounced around. He never made the full-time roster.
Yeah.
But so if Travis Bell is as good as I think he is, he'll get his chance, even if it's not at Chicago.
Well, yeah, the seventh
will.
round is not a bad place to be drafted, especially when you're the first player
Right.
of the 7th round. So there's less than 200 football players in the country that are better than you.
No, it's a heck of an honor, and there's a lot of wide receivers that are never going to pan out because they're divas or they're this or they're that. Big uglies, big defensive linemen, man, nobody can get enough of them. So this guy is going to be around for a long time.
And I think it says a lot. I'm gonna say this, that Liam Klein is our defensive line coach. That of the 2 players we've had that had their shot in the NFL, it was both come out of
His
defensive line.
area.
Yeah, and I love Liam. He's a great coach. Just a heads down coach. Just does his job, And for a guy that came from New Jersey, I give him credit for that.
And these are the name dropping things that we're talking about. Why nobody is smarter than Will yet?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this story about Liam. I flew up to see a game at Monmouth, which is in New Jersey, and I flew into wherever the airport is. I flew in at Newark. I flew in at midnight. I get there late, and I'm walking through the airport with my yellow jacket on with the KS on it, and this guy who I'm thinking looks like a custodian because he's got a stops me and goes, "Hey, that's Kennesaw State." I'm like, "Absolutely, it's Kennesaw State. How do you know that?" He goes, "Oh, my buddy's a coach there." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, Liam Klein. We went to elementary school together."
Wow. That's a small story. So if you know Liam that well, how come we haven't had him on the show yet, Will?
Oh, I don't.
What's your answer on that one, Will?
Yeah, Will.
Well,
Will.
You just put that back on me, didn't you?
Work on it, brother. That's all I can say. Yeah.
I'll have to see if we can. During football season, there's no chance he's going to come on the show. But
Yeah,
we'll have
I'm
to
sure.
wait till off season see if we can't make that.
That's
happen.
fine. That's fine. So that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and get an Alvin Jameson commercial out of the way. We still got a lot of good stuff to talk about the Owls.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan, and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
Thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports. We appreciate your support, and we're here to help support the NIL initiative from KSU called the Owl Collective. And like I said, next week we're going to have 3 people on here, I think. Barclay Miller, Francis Bussey, is that how you pronounce your last name?
I believe that's correct.
And Carrick Martin, also known as Manu G. Krebs, to talk about KSU and the NIL funds. So look forward to that next week. And let me go ahead and mention the following week, Nick Massimino is going to be here. You may know Nick as being the voice on the court for the KSU Owls, men's and women's team. And today is not only Nick's birthday, but it's also Cole LaRue's birthday. So we have 2 former guests. LaRue.
You had to bring LaRue up while we have Will sitting here?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But the other thing, I don't know if
Always
you...
poking the bear.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Cole LaRue also got engaged over the weekend.
Hey, I did not know that. Congratulations,
Congratulations,
Mr. LaRue.
Cole. So we can't wait to hear your engagement story. I saw your
guessing-
pictures on Facebook this weekend.
I'm guessing Chuck Stone's going to look good in a tuxedo. You know, I never see those two without each other. So.
No, we haven't yet. So that's pretty cool. So we got a second commercial out of the way. Let's talk a little bit about some other things that happened. Robert mentioned Gary Millway, who is a cheerleader.
Correct.
We had Gary on the show. That was a fun time. So many guests.
So many guests. It's just it's honestly hard to keep up with. And you start looking. Start looking over all of my old notes, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah.
Now, we've had a couple of female volleyball players on here. We had one just a couple of weeks ago.
Correct. And in case you guys heard me talking to that commercial, I'm sorry, Alvin Jameson, but I was pulling something up, and McKinley Ferguson had won an award during last year, so I did a screenshot, as I usually do for anybody who's on the show, and I showed it to Chuck. She wasn't on the show, was she? But hopefully she will be soon.
It was Lauren Chastain that was on the show.
That's correct.
And I remember we called Lauren's high school coach and had her call in during the show. And I wasn't aware that her and Lauren stay in pretty close touch anyway, but at least we gave it the old college try to get them reconnected. But it was a fun show. I don't think we've had a show that wasn't fun yet with these people.
No.
But, you know, there are some big moments that have happened this year in KSU, other than moving to Conference USA. And I would say the second biggest story would have to be the men's basketball team. Would you agree with that, Will?
Absolutely. The just winning the conference and going to the NCAA tournament was a big event, a national event for us.
Yeah.
Getting on a national stage.
And we've talked about that ad nauseum on the show about how much exposure we got in Greensboro, when we went up for the tournament. Me and Brother Will drove up together. But the game that they had on ESPN was the ASUN championship game, right?
Correct.
That's the one I missed. That I was sitting in my house with 4 minutes left in the game. So do I go or I don't go?
That was the day you were celebrating Christmas in March.
Celebrating Christmas in March. That's right. And I couldn't get away. I think it's the only men's home game I missed all year. I might have missed one more. But I'm sure it was exciting. If you had to say the Thursday before was more exciting when we beat Liberty or the ASUN championship game, which one was more thrilling for you, Will?
Well, they're thrilling. They're different types of thrilling. I mean, beating Liberty and winning the ASUN was one of the most exciting things I've been a part of at Kennesaw. Aside, in addition to winning the football conferences, but I never dreamed I would go to the tournament, the NCAA tournament, because I didn't grow up a big basketball fan. I just go to the Kennesaw games because it's Kennesaw, and so our history does not lead you to believe that we're going to go there that often. But we changed coaches, and they changed the program's direction, and just winning and getting a chance to go. It was exciting, and being on that arena and actually being in the arena and taking over the crowd with our chant, which was a new thing to us.
You don't want to go to war with the Owls, baby.
Right. The other teams, like, because we were playing Xavier, but the other teams, I think Pittsburgh was one of them. I don't remember the other one that played after us.
Yeah, we
but
stayed around and watched a little bit of that.
their
didn't we?
fans started cheering our cheer.
Absolutely.
And you could, when you listen to the replay on TV, you could hear us cheering in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Just constantly. It was kind of like the Florida Seminoles, their war chant.
Or the Braves, the same crap.
Yeah, but it
We
But
don't
it's-
copy things. We create our own.
right. That is our own. You do know that, right?
Yeah. We actually, a couple of weeks ago, we looked up who wrote that, didn't we?
We did, and I quoted one person, but then I had to retract it because it turns out he did not write that song. He wrote another song.
But we actually have a high school that paid rights and are now using that as one of their chants.
Is that true?
Yes.
Where was that high school? Local? or-
Camden County.
Camden
South-
County, South Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who happens, the principal of Camden County happens to be, the last name is Loden, by the way.
Oh, Cole. Is it Cole's dad?
Cole's dad.
That's great.
But yeah, he told me that they had paid, he told me what they paid. I'm not going to say what they paid, but they paid for
Can
the
you tell us the number of figures?
Oh, it was low.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was not like in the thousands.
Yeah,
Okay.
Camden County didn't have a lot of money to spend.
But the second one that wants that is going to have to pay a lot more.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
That's really cool.
So we were the first ones, and I think he said that the guy that runs the band program was just excited somebody wanted to use it.
Oh, that
So-
sure it was. Yeah. Well, what's really cool, I think we talked a little bit about Nick Massimino coming on in a couple of weeks. We're going to try to write a new fight song for KSU. I think that'll be a fun night. So if you have any ideas out there that you can come up
Start
with,
jotting them down.
start jotting them down. We're going to do something KSU wise.
Now the current fight
On the
song we
19th.
have, it's not that old.
I know.
Correct,
yeah.
and that's the one that I looked up.
Okay.
That's the one you and Garrett are always singing, and I don't know the words to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
they-
about the mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
They wrote that song. I don't remember who wrote it, but they came up with that song for the first football season because they never really had a fight song for the
They
other
didn't
sports
need one
before.
for the education part.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, we'll come up with something. Maybe we'll just there's got to be more words to "You Don't Want to Go to War with the Owls" because there's a lot of music other than just that.
You don't want to go to war with the Owls because we're big and scary.
No.
But
nice try.
Because we're big and scared. Yeah.
No, maybe not big, but just scary. Because we're scary.
No. I think it's got to be before
What's
that. It's
scary
like,
is Adam looking at me while he's going, scary.
I've got some ideas, but I'm going to save them for that week. I've got a couple of ideas. I'll save them for that
Chuck's
week.
got some gems, so
Some
they're going to
chumps.
be painfully puntatic.
No, actually, they're not. I think it'll be pretty cool. I think people will like them. We'll see. We'll see. So going to Greensboro was just a blast, right? Me and Will, we just had a good time. Stood in line to get Robert a shirt.
And the number of people that went to Greensboro was fantastic.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people travel.
And
What a nice thing to have it at that close location where it could happen. You
Yeah.
know, it really stunk for the school taking that next step had it been in Spokane,
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
We're
So-
going to Sacramento.
so many people up there. Stan went, did he?
great.
Stan Kirk, didn't he go?
I believe so, yeah.
And so Garrett Brackett and his family, and Stan Kirk, Patrick Vickers. I ran into the Bananas up there, and it was shortly after that we had them on the show.
Coach Schunzel from the
Keith
volleyball
Schunzel,
coach,
Keith was there.
He
yeah.
was up there.
Keith is one of our favorite people. He's been on the show a couple of times. And also, we don't want to go without mentioning Kel McDaniel from the track team. He's been very instrumental in helping us getting other people on the show. So, love all our KSU coaches, and we want to continue to expand that list. It was funny. We did a show one night in here, and on our way out, the brand new basketball coach, Antoine Petway, and Dan Washington, I think is his name,
Yeah.
was sitting in a booth over here, and we just went up and started talking to him. And last time I talked to Dan, he said, "Yeah, we'll come on when the schedule finished, and we'll talk about it a little bit."
That'd be awesome. We can't wait. But, you were talking about our track record for basketball. And, 4 years ago, we were 1-24 or whatever. But once this got turned around and pointed in the direction that we're currently going, so nice to see Petway get that baton. Because, when your coach leaves and you start thinking, oh, man, I hope we don't hire Osborne High School's head coach. Or, who's next? Wow, we got a name, and we got a guy with some game, and it's just going to be a lot of fun going forward.
Yes, and a guy that stepped right in and started recruiting day one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he's brought in some pretty big recruits. And we talked to Cole and Chuck Stone last week about how the practice is, and he says it's a lot more practice and not so much the drills that Raheem did when they would dance across the court doing leg stretches and stuff. He said it's just play ball, and I think they like that about that. Not that there's anything wrong with Raheem. He got us to the dance,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, when you've got a team that's been all together for a while, you're able to practice with them differently than right now. We've got a lot of faces that have never met each other, so you've got to kind of put them through the ringer and the ropes to find out what you got.
Yeah.
And Petway said a lot about that night up at Savoy Museum.
Right.
Yeah. And Tom Chenal. Tom's another great fan that's been on, and Rich Hall with the Owls Club. I'm trying to get all our KSU fans on that have been on with us. But Antoine said, he said, we're out there 7 o'clock in the morning. He said, and they're not going to party at night because they're going to get up at 7 o'clock. They'll be present practicing basketball.
Right.
Yeah. And he's brought some, like Robert said, some great kids in. R.J. Johnson from Alabama. There's another Alabama kid out there that's looking that I didn't know if Antoine's talking to him or not, but and the 6'8" shooter from West Virginia, I can't remember his name, but I don't think there's going to be much of a lapse from what we had. We lost 3 players, right? We lost Chris Youngblood, Jennings. Is it Spencer Jennings?
Kason Jennings.
Jennings.
Yeah, and I don't remember who's the third one.
Spencer
Spencer Rogers.
Stroud.
Spencer what?
Stroud was the third player.
Oh, was it Stroud?
Yeah, we lost Stroud, we lost Youngblood, and we lost
Jennings.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
But we've added a lot of talent.
We have, and Damon Robinson's coming back, and Terrell Burden's coming back.
Yeah.
So those are 2 key additions or keeps that we didn't know that we were going to have. So they both stepped up their game, and the little guy. Oh, what's the freshman's name that we had on? Little short point guard, the heir apparent to
Simon Cottle.
Yeah,
Simeon
Cottle. We had his dad on the show.
That's
we
right.
had his dad on the show while they were playing on the road in Missouri, and a guy who's normally
North
watching
Alabama.
his phone.
No, it's Central Arkansas.
He's normally watching his phone to see, and all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm going to give it up. We're not going to watch tonight. I'm going to talk about him instead.
Yeah, and that was
nice
really
stuff.
cool. So like Robert's continued to say, we've had some great guests. We're going to go ahead and get our last commercial done. It's Modern Image, right?
It should be.
And then we're going to talk about some even more fun stuff.
More fun stuff? How can we have more fun stuff? I've got so many
Like
notes here.
scrolling you to find Modern Image.
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper. Go Owls.
Go Owls, indeed. So we talked about some of the fun stuff we've done, but I think there are 2 or 3 highlights this year that we probably need to talk about. The first being, one week we had Chris Youngblood on the show, right? Chris was
Correct. We had
right after the tournament, and Chris was a very good
It was
guest.
the day before he bolted for South Florida.
It wasn't far after.
it was about 9 days before that.
About 9 days, because he was here next week.
That's correct.
That's right, for the next week.
And it was like 2 days after.
But I don't know what we were talking about. Well, we know that Caitlin Corral, I guess Caitlin still works here. I hadn't seen her tonight. But she ate this 16.5-inch burger. It was about this high that had zingers on it and 2 orders of fries. And Caitlin's not a heavy girl. She's very well put together. I don't know how else to put that.
Probably not like that, Chuck.
Very athletic, very athletically built. How's that? And so Caitlin, how long did it take you to eat this? And she said an hour and a half. which we thought was pretty impressive just to eat it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we were talking to Chris Youngblood and said, "Hey, Chris,
We actually said, can you do it? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, no. Well, who's on the show? Who's on your team? And he went straight to him.
Cole."
Oh, he said
Cole
LaRue.
LaRue.
He said Cole LaRue.
LaRue can eat anything.
Yeah, I said, well, we need to do a contest. So we had Cole LaRue and my good friend Will Renfro come up, and they had a challenge to where they both ate this 16.5-inch burger with zingers and fries and all this. What else was on it, Will?
There were
wasn't on
mozzarella
it?
sticks on there.
Mozzarella sticks, yeah.
Chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the zingers.
Yeah.
I think it was a double patty.
It was.
It was more
Two
than I
sides
should
of
have
fries. It was 2 sides of fries in addition to everything
And
else.
yeah. So, given Caitlin Corral's success of eating it in an hour and a half, we have an hour show, and we're sitting here thinking, well, maybe let's take about 45 minutes. What do you point at? Me?
He was thinking it was going
Oh.
to take that. This guy had the under the whole time. I'm like, no, there's going to be some eating going on in this
So I
place.
said 45 minutes. We can't just stay on them the whole time. We'll talk some KSU sports and break in from time to time. So we start the show, and 10 minutes and 49 seconds later,
LaRue's going like, LaRue
Cole
looks
has-
over at the camera and goes, so what's for dessert?
Cole has licked the plate. He is done, and he's still eating. Now, I don't want to give Will no credit because Will was not far behind him.
I went into cruise control when I realized I was not going to win.
And let me just say, Will looked at it kind of like an archaeologist, right? So, Cole LaRue just took a big shovel and just started digging, right? Will took his bun off. He's like, I'm going to eat all the tenders first. So he ate all the tenders, made the burger a little smaller so he could, take care of
I
business.
broke
but
it down to apps and a main course and then the fries for dessert. No,
So much
LaRue
fun.
just went in handfuls.
Oh, yeah.
It was an amazing thing. So Cole won that contest, and he got
there's a new contest, the dessert.
yeah.
They have mixed 3 or 4 desserts, and they say it has more calories. Than
4,200 calories. Isn't that what he said?
4,200 calories.
Yeah.
No, you might have to amputate my foot now. It's
Yeah. I might be interested in this because I'm a dessert freak. I love desserts. I think that would be fun. But it's going to be hard to compete against that night as one of the greatest nights on our show.
Oh, absolutely. And, 50 years from now, when they're talking about the legacy of this show and everything that we did as
Adam will be the only one that's still around.
When Adam's running the show by himself.
And no, you'll have new people. You'll be like, okay, listen here, intern, you do what I tell you, and all that. You're going to be mean to your intern. Just know that. But no, it was amazing and just so much fun to watch. The two of them. Still one of my favorite things that I ever saw on the show was right before that competition started. Cole LaRue looks at the waiter and he goes, can I get a glass of water? He's getting ready to eat a burger that has 3,900 calories or something. And all he wants, can I get a glass of water? And this man to my left looks at the waiter and goes, here's $20. Make sure he doesn't get a water. Go! And it was like, hey, you got to help yourself whenever you get an opportunity. And, that waiter appreciated that $20, and it turned out Mr. LaRue didn't need any water anyway.
He created enough saliva. He was
Absolutely.
okay. He was
Didn't
good to go.
So much fun, though. I saw you do that.
he was not ready for me to
I was
do
like,
that.
That's a guy
No.
who's competing like I am. I like that.
Yeah, Will's a competitor. There's
If
no
you're
doubt
not
about
cheating,
that.
you're not trying.
I love that. I love that attitude.
Rubbin's racing.
So, it was pretty cool. I would say up until that point, it was the coolest thing we'd ever done on the show. Then
I can't compete with Callie.
we have Callie Terza on the show. Callie and Anthony Harrison. And we had them on, and Callie's standing over here, and she says, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. And then we got her on the show, and 10 minutes into it, she wouldn't shut up. And she pretty much took over. Robert wasn't here that night.
I wasn't
Adam was
here that
sitting with me.
night.
And I was walking by Will, and Will was sitting down at the far end of the bar with that guy with the red shirts on. And I don't remember how we asked. I said, I asked you if you knew Callie Terza. And you said, I don't think so. Then all of a sudden, yeah, she's on TikTok. And and he's pulling up these pictures of her. And I don't remember what pictures were, but they were pretty impressive. I don't want to say anything else, kind of like I did with Caitlin. But
You've already gone down that road, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are watching this right now going,
Caitlin Carell and Callie Turner.
Give my
So
TikTok
do you remember
ready.
what it was?
Yeah.
What you would watch for? It wasn't about the squatting, was it?
No, I was just I often will look at our guests and see their social media before they come on.
Yeah.
And so I was just flipping through hers, and her Instagram is more like pictures of her at track events. And then I went to her TikTok, and that's more personal. And
Yeah.
you know, and then all of a sudden I'm just keep flipping through, and then there's just pictures of her at college life. And then all of a sudden I stop on this one, and she's got guys on her back, and she's doing squats.
So we actually had Will come up to the microphone and ask her a question. You remember the question you asked her?
Yeah, I asked her if she has to, if before she dates a guy, if she has to squat
has
him
to
see
squat.
to see if she can.
So she was quite taken, but she said, "Oh, you follow me on TikTok." So
What did they call it when you're when you have that big of a profile on social media? You're an influencer.
Influencer.
She is an
She is
influencer.
definitely an influencer.
Whether we know her or not, she's got a lot of followers, and they're keeping up with her.
So let's talk real briefly about the track team and how successful Callie is. She went to the Nationals. I mean, she set the ASUN record for the hammer throw. Her and Anthony Harrison and got a couple others. Isaiah Rogers, who was also on the show. They all went to the Eastern Regionals in Jacksonville and then qualified for the Nationals
In Austin.
in Austin. And I called
And Sandra Hendrick.
Sarah
Hendricks.
Sarah. Okay.
Sarah Hendricks, who's quit running. I think she's tired of running. But and that's okay. But we
She can run to this show very soon, though.
anytime
we'd
she
love to have
likes.
her.
But so I invited Anthony and Callie back the week after the show. They had just gotten home from Texas, and they said, "You know what? I'm just so tired. I just need to. Next week would be better." So we filled in something, did something. But the next week, when they showed up, we had a little challenge for Callie. Do you want to share that, Robert?
What was a challenge about it, though? I mean, based on TikTok videos,
We thought it was a challenge.
A challenge would have been to
Chuck
get me
thought
involved,
it was.
but-
Chuck thought it was a challenge, but Chuck thought we were going to need 45 minutes for that eating contest too.
Exactly.
And when it came time to, I only kept asking ATI one thing: can you plank hard enough? Because if you get all loosey goosey, nobody can
Well, tell
lift
them
you
the
or
story
do
because they
anything.
didn't know what she was going to do.
Oh, these people all know. They all watched.
Yeah.
He's been getting his fandom has been going up on his social media sites.
Of course
since
it
that
did.
moment.
Anytime he's
But
been
yes.
touched by a woman like that.
When Kelly Turza decided to squat ATI, while we're talking and prepping, she's over here in the corner and she's, doing all these exercises and these stretches. I'm looking subliminally out of the corner of my eye thinking, oh my God, she'd be lucky if she doesn't throw Adam through the ceiling like that. 5, rah!
Yeah, she did 5 squats, right?
She did 5, and it was 5 rather easy
She did
squats.
2 sets of 5.
well,
One
she must.
one set was off camera.
Yeah, she did one practice set.
Yes.
Oh, with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Sure.
It was right
It was
here.
right here.
Oh, I didn't see it then. Yeah. All right. I knew she did. I knew she did the one. But what's really cool, it wasn't just us. I mean, this place was packed out that night. Callie and her family were all over here. Anthony Harrison and his girlfriend were over here.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun time. So we're not just here to talk sports. We're here to show sports as well. So we had Callie on and Anthony, and I'm sure they're going to be back. I know Callie told us that she's going to redshirt this year for the indoor or the outdoor. I can't remember which one.
She is gonna red shirt for the
Out-
indoor this year,
No, the
which
out-
means she'll
out-
only
No, the
be
outdoors.
out.
Outdoor this year,
And
indoor,
indoor
next.
next year. Yeah.
She wants an extra year, and so that'll help her get there.
Yep. So she'll be around for a while, and we'll be getting her and Callie and Anthony. And Anthony's actually on the student government as vice president, so he's going to help us. I'm supposed to meet with him and Brogan, I think is the guy's name that's president, and we're going to get some more exposure within KSU for our show. I've watched a couple of the other shows, and people are starting to copy us. Robert, did you know that? They're interviewing
Why
people
wouldn't you
just like
copy
we
us,
did.
Chuck?
That's exactly. They're not as good at it as us, but they're good. They are trying to do that. So I don't know. So probably top 3 things for me this year are the hamburger eating contest, the squatting of ATI, and going to the dance. I mean, those are three pretty major events here on the show.
They were all great, but each week when we're doing something here and you see a few more heads lean over, like, what the heck are those guys doing? What are they talking about? KSU's getting a little more popular, even sometimes without our help.
Even without our help, that's pretty good.
But no, it's a lot of fun, and I tell people all the time, if you go back 10 years, there's no KSU jerseys for sale anywhere. Now you can go into CVS and you can buy a KSU shirt. So, it's coming. All these things. We had our super fan on. Remember our youngest super fan, my buddy's son, Christian.
Brought 18 family members with him to watch the show.
Absolutely. And we had Garrett's son on the show.
Henry was on the show,
and, these are the kids that are going to be driving the ship.
And it's really funny. I thought we did a good job, but I just got a text from today from somebody who watched us on the 5 o'clock show. He said, "You guys are great." I said, "Well, thanks. I appreciate that." But I think what I was sold on the Owl show was at a basketball game. I think it was the girls had just won and the guys had just come back from winning. The regular season, they played their last game at Central Arkansas, so they presenting the trophy for the first time.
Right.
It was a fake one, I think, but they had it. Everybody walk around pictures, and a guy named Rick Limpert, who was on our 5 o'clock show today, came up to me and said, "I said, hey, I'm Chuck Burge with the Owl Show." He said, "I know who you are. I watch your show." I said, "Oh, cool. That's really cool." So,
That's wild.
Yeah, that was a big, probably the biggest smile I've had in a long time. So that's.
Hey, and just a quick shout out to the guy who was here while ATI was getting squatted, Aiden Boyd, who was the track member who was with Callie that night.
Yeah.
Remember, we thought it was her. Well, maybe that's her boyfriend
No.
or her brother.
Yeah.
No. He's actually recovering, and he's in throws as well. And we look forward to having him back on the show. We've had so many people.
And we had the manager, Brett Lynn, is that his name, from the basketball team that
Yes.
was on? And we had Will Purdue, West Purdue's son, on here about a month ago. And he was a fantastic guest. So
Lots of awesome
But I got to
people.
give a shout out to the best female fan you've had on the show.
that'd be Chuck Renfro.
Yes. And
Our first female.
first female fan, and then she brought cookies.
I was going to
later.
mention that. She brought cookies. And Chuck, you can bring back cookies anytime you want. So that was great.
Yeah, the Renfros gave us the very first male super fan and female super fan, and cookies. So if you're at home and you're like, we could beat those two, just know that you're going to have to bump it up with the cookies as well. Because
Yeah, we're talking cakes and
Yeah, these were
pies
good.
and all
These
that
were good
stuff. This was awesome stuff. Yeah. So we appreciate Charlie or Chuck being on the show with us.
Absolutely.
We got Alyssa on, right? Alyssa Reed was on.
Yeah, I don't think Jan ever wanted to be
Jan-
on.
No,
Jen
Jan
never
never
did.
wanted to be on, but Alyssa came on to talk about her baseball. legacy locker and stuff. So that was cool. So
it's been a lot of fun. We're getting ready to do some really fun things coming up in the near future. We have KSU Jeopardy coming our way.
yeah, Raymond Guslau. I don't know if you know who Raymond is, but he was came in second on the college tournament for KSU, and he's going to be coming on sometime in August and hosting KSU Sports Jeopardy. And Will, you just might be an answer to the question. I got to say this because I know we're getting closer.
As long as they were really good and well written questions, will be an answer.
Well, and this is probably was going to be the question. One of the coolest moments I've had is at the spring football game, and this is when this guy here is a super fan. After the game, everybody gathered at about the 30-yard line and turned around and they sang "Happy Birthday" to Will, and that's I'm in the presence of greatness. That's
The
how
entire
I-
football team sang happy birthday to me.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That was awesome.
There's been so many moments, but I think when I heard that you and Garrett emptied out a piece of luggage and put a grill in there so that when you went to Houston, you'd have something to grill in the parking lot.
Sam Houston, yeah.
These are the events, and going back to what I said. Oh, I'll know more than all these guys. But no, you got to live this life if you're going to know this kind of stuff.
You got to live KSU
because there are people who are living it.
Yep. So that's cool. So just again, a reminder of some things coming up next week. Sandy Bussey and Carrick Martin talking about NIL, and we'll see what's going on with them. and the Owl Collective. And then following the week, birthday boy Nick Massimino will be on, and we'll be writing some lyrics for a KSU song. So that should be fun. New cheer or something going down. So look forward to those. Will, thanks, buddy, for stepping in. Robert, what a
Thanks
fun
for
show,
having me.
man. Thanks for the 10 and a half months here at Miller's Ale House. We want to thank them, as always, for being our
Absolutely.
hosts and feeding us dinner every week. So we will be back next Wednesday at 7 o'clock here for the Owl Show with the Owl Collective. Until then, hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Good night.
All right.